Hello, welcome back to Beauty Bee. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some holiday gift sets that brands have put out that somehow are actually not very good gifts. Though I will be showing specific products, this is not as much an anti-haul of these particular items as it is sort of categories of gift sets that tend to come out, particularly around this time of year, that I just think don't make very good gifts. These don't make a whole lot of sense to give to another person. So let's get into it. The first category is if you're buying for a beauty lover, they have tried everything in this kit already. And I think possibly the best example is practically any benefit kit, but in particular, this benefit kit. I got all of these off of Ulta, by the way. And this is $20, and it has a mini roller lash, a mini professional, and a mini gimme brow. So let's be clear, if you can trick or treat at the President of Benefits house, I have no doubt that they give out handfuls of professional samples like other people do candy. You cannot escape the professional in the beauty community. If you've ever gotten a subscription box, it's probably been in there. Sephora will give it out as a free sample quite often. It shows up as 100-point perks, as does the roller lash show up as a 100-point perk quite often. So people have tried this. And not to mention that this sample of professional is tiny. This is a 10 ml or a third of a fluid ounce sample of primer, and the professional that they give you in the set is a quarter of an ounce. So it is only 75% the size of this little sample, and you're going to be paying per item about $7 for something smaller than this. No, absolutely not. The second category that just makes terrible gifts, I think, it's from a good brand that has good quality, but you know that this set just is not up to snuff with the rest of their items. Now, in the last couple years, quite a few brands have started doing these sets of mini palettes. Here's one from Clinique. Now, this has 3 little palettes, each of which has a quad of eyeshadows and then a blush or a bronzer. Now, this is $30, which seems like a really good deal. But we know that this cannot be equivalent quality to Clinique's usual quads, because Clinique's usual quads are $32 or $33 a pop. Now, if this cost a little bit more and it was, I don't know, maybe the cost of 2 of those quads, so in the $65 range, I might be willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that this could be as good of quality as their usual quads. However, do you really think they're going to give you 12 eyeshadows and 3 blushes for less money than they will usually sell you a quad? No, absolutely not. There's no way that this is up to par. Same exact story with this trio of little Tarte palettes. I was very amused to see this. Tarte says that this is a $270 value. They think that each of these little eyeshadows is something you should be willing to pay $10 for. Now, I have seen a review of this set, and that individual came to the conclusion that the quality in these palettes is not up to par with the original Tartelette and Bloom and the original Tartelette Toasted, and presumably the bigger version of the, is it Tartelette Juicy? I think so. Yes, that will be coming out sometime in the future. And that makes sense. I mean, this is a $49 set, and I believe that the individual palettes are somewhere in the $40 to $50 range as well. So of course the quality is not going to be there. These products where you are meant to split up the gift really grind my gears. And this is the OPI Shine Bright Nail Lacquer Mini 10-pack. Now, the way this set comes, you have 2 separately wrapped sets of 5 mini nail polishes each. And OPI even says that the idea is that you can give one set to a friend and keep one set for yourself. Or, you know, if you were being a little bit more reasonable, you might split those up and give both to different friends or family members. Now, this is trying to get you to buy more. I mean, if you were going to buy your friend 5 mini nail polishes, do you really need to buy 10 mini nail polishes so you can also keep 5? Probably not. But also, you're taking the choice to return away from your friend, because if they had just a 5-piece set, you know, they could take that back to Ulta if it was not something they liked, if it was a duplicate, whatever, and exchange that. But if you have the other set of 5, are they really going to ask you, or worse, ask some other friend who also has these 5 of the mini nail polishes to return it with them so that they can both take half of the money and spend it as they want? Probably not. And I know that is somewhat a unique to the US problem, if you can call it that, because not everyone can return makeup quite as easily as we can. But it just doesn't make sense. Now let's stick with OPI as we move to the next category, which is the category of far too much stuff. Nobody needs 25 mini nail polishes. That is overwhelming. I don't have 25 nail polishes total, and I am overwhelmed. I have, I think, 6-ish minis that I'm trying to get through, and that feels overwhelming. I can't imagine 25, all of the same brand, all coming in at the same time, and really, they don't even look that different. No one needs this. Honestly, probably not too many people even want it. I think we should just pass. Now let's move to the category of gifts that don't seem to have a truly intended recipient. And let's go with this Ulta and Ecotools set first. Now, they're absolutely trying to play off of nostalgia for Ecotools. Now, I don't think I'm a little bit young to really appreciate the Ecotools nostalgia. I mean, I did have a, I think, off-brand caboodle when I was probably, I think I got it for my 7th birthday. My grandfather took me to Target and he let me spend, I think, up to $20 on a gift for myself. And because the more things change, the more things stay the same, I, at 7 years old, wanted a box to organize things. So I got a off-brand caboodle, not knowing what a caboodle was, because this was 2001. So yeah, I'm a little too young for the full Ecotools nostalgia. But I know that I'm also too old to want anything that actually comes in this caboodle. So I don't understand who this is aimed at. I mean, a early teen, I'm guessing a 14-year-old would be the perfect audience for the contents of the caboodle. However, they don't get the nostalgia factor. They might think it's a cute box, but the nostalgia's not there. The nostalgia's there for the very late 20-somethings and then 30-somethings and up who wouldn't appreciate this makeup. So it's just a mismatch. I also tend to see this in a lot of the bigger sets of items, like, again, keeping with Ulta, this sponge set. Now, who needs 10 sponges? This particular item almost fits in the just too much stuff category, 10 sponges is a lot. I think it's 10. Let me check. Oh, apologies. It's actually 9 sponges. I'm sorry. 9 sponges is far more reasonable to be getting all at one time. Except, who wants this? Now, if you use a sponge every day, you probably already have a favorite, and you probably just have 1 or 2 sizes that you really stick to. So what is the use for you of getting 5 different types of sponges, including duplicates of a couple, all in a big set? That's adding quite a few items to your stash all at once, and you're probably not going to use a lot of them. I mean, even if it so happens that Ulta Beauty does make your favorite sponge, which I don't know that I've ever heard anyone say that, though maybe there are people like that out there. You probably don't use all 5 kinds that Ulta makes. And if you aren't someone who uses sponge all the time, what use do you have for 9 of them? There's no good audience for this item. Again, keeping with who is this even for, as well as the just too much stuff, we have this MAC mini lipstick collection. Now this is a very cute set, and I will give MAC that, but it's a pricey set. It comes out to $74.50. So about $6.25 for each of these lipsticks. Now, hopefully if you're going to spend almost $75 on a present for someone, you know that they like MAC lipsticks, because that's a lot to gamble on a formula that you don't know if someone likes. But if you know that they like MAC lipsticks, they probably already own a good chunk of this set, or have at least tried a good chunk of this set. Now, who is really into MAC lipsticks, but yet has never either tried or just decided wouldn't work for them Ruby Woo or Lady Danger or so many other of MAC's sort of classic shades? But yet, those are the shades that are in this set. We're going to move to this Ecotools set. And again, this is a pretty pricey item. This comes out to $50 for a 14-piece brush set. And again, I have the question, who is this for? I mean, someone who already does makeup all the time, someone for whom it makes sense to spend $50 on their makeup application, probably already has brushes. They probably have brushes that they really like, or, you know, they have types of brushes that they would prefer. They have their preferred style of foundation brush, for example. Do they like using a sponge? Do they like using a brush? Do they like using their hands? And both the sponge and the brush would be a waste. And similar, they probably already have eye brushes that they like and know what type they use, etc. So buying them a big brush set doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. But if you, I was going to say someone younger, but someone of any age who is just getting into makeup, wouldn't it make more sense to buy a little bit less of an expensive set, maybe something with a couple fewer options that might be a little less intimidating for one, and just be less money out if they decide fairly quickly that no, they don't actually want to wear makeup? That seems like a more reasonable solution to me, to buy a cheaper brush set from, let's say, e.l.f. or BH Cosmetics. Still decent quality, but a little less spendy. Apparently I rambled so much that the camera cut me off, but let's move to the next category, which is buying a set, but the items in the set won't all work for the same person. I don't understand these sets at all, because, like, let's look at this Lancome lip quartet, and there's 4 nude lipsticks here. They all have different undertones, they have slightly different tinges to them, but they're all nude, and they're all, you know, actually fairly similar nudes in the big realm of things. So nudes are hard to gift, I think, because slight changes in undertone can make a nude go from flattering to hideous on a person very, very quickly. So are all four of these actually going to work for the presumably single individual that you're buying them for? Probably not. Are at least 3 of them going to work for the individual that you're buying them for? Maybe. Now, I am betting that for most people, maybe 2 or 3 of these would work. So now you're not looking at this set of 4 lipsticks for $46. What you're really ending up with is 2, maybe 3 lipsticks for $46. So they've gone from being $11 a piece, which seems like a reasonable deal for Lancome, right? I mean, they're a pricey brand, to being $15, $16 or $23 a piece, which is still a price cut for Lancome. However, if you're going to be paying $23 a pop anyway, wouldn't it be better to just be able to pick one shade that you know would work for a person? I think so. And similarly, we're veering a little bit into hair care with this, the mini leave-in kit from It's a 10. Now, the It's a 10 Light and the It's a 10 just regular are meant for different hair types. The light one is intended for people with finer hair than the regular It's a 10, because people with fine hair can have their hair weighed down by the normal It's a 10. So who is this person for whom it makes a lot of sense to be getting both a mini of the It's a 10 and a mini of the It's a 10 Light? I don't know, but it doesn't seem like a very good gift set. And now this last category is full of things that seem like really practical gifts until you think about it for quite a while. And let's start with the Urban Decay Primer Potion duo. Now, primer potions last forever. Really, eye primers in general last so much longer than I always think they should. Those bottles are deceivingly large. And I think that I've had my Wet n Wild primer for, well, let's see, I think I've been using only that Wet n Wild primer for 3 years now, and I'm almost to the end of my second tube. So these last me a year and a half. And I wear eyeshadow practically every day. Now, do you really want to give someone 3 years of eye primer? I mean, probably not. Best case scenario, when they start using that first tube immediately upon getting it, the second tube's gonna just sit there for 18 months potentially until they've used up tube number 1 before they move to tube number 2. And if someone is a beauty junkie, you know, the kind of person that you would consider buying not 1 but 2 full-size Urban Decay primer potions for, they probably have an eye primer open already. They might have a few eye primers open already. So does it really make sense to buy them 2 more so that they can have another 3 years worth of eye primer just sitting around while the probably years worth of eye primer they have open gets used up? No. And the same thing with this Mascara Vault from Too Faced. Now, getting 5 mascaras for $78, I mean, that is a little bit of a price cut compared to how much the Too Faced mascaras usually cost. But those last couple tubes of mascara are going to sit there for a year or more minimum before they start getting used. And And I don't know about you, but I would much prefer to buy, you know, maybe 2, maybe 3 mascaras at a time. I'm okay with, opening one right away and then opening that third tube 6 months from now. I'm pretty good about switching out mascara every 3 months as recommended. And I know a lot of people don't. A lot of people prefer to stretch it to 6 months, 7 months, especially if they buy these higher end mascaras. So that could be years until they open this last tube, which at that point, I think you would probably be better off just buying them as you go. And now finally, let's look at a skincare set. Now, I don't think that skincare sets are inherently bad gifts. I just think there aren't very many of them that would make good gifts. And let's look particularly at this Estee Lauder nighttime set. Now, this is $37.50. You get 5 products. They're all pretty small. Again, we were talking earlier about this third of the fluid ounce, number 7 travel size primer. And the largest thing you get in this set is a 1/4 of an ounce. So about 3/4 of this size. And you also get, I believe, 2 different items that are 0.17 ounces. So right around half of this size. And it works out to paying $7.50 for each of the items. I understand that the thought is that either someone could maybe try things out for a couple weeks, or they could take them with them when they travel or something. But first of all, who wants to switch up their entire skincare routine when they travel for a couple weeks? Like, that's probably the time when your skin is in the worst shape. You're probably spending a lot of time outside, maybe in the sun. Maybe you are spending a lot of time in an airplane. Do you really want to be switching out your skincare right when you're spending all this time on an airplane? I think that that's exactly the time I would want to be most consistent with what I'm using. And what if they like it? I mean, I would not be comfortable giving samples, essentially, of a $80 night cream to, I don't know, my mom or a sibling, because what if they really do like it? I don't want them to feel conflicted about wanting to potentially buy something that expensive and then have that be a staple product for them. I would feel terrible about that. But on the other hand, it is the gift that keeps on giving. You can give them a little sample that they will be done within 2 weeks, but you can give them years of guilt and conflicted emotions over that same sample. That's always fun. All right, I should probably be done ranting before the camera cuts me off yet again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that no one's feelings are hurt. Whenever I do an anti-haul or really react to products of any kind, it's always my opinion, and I am one person floating in a sea of billions who all have slightly different opinions. Mine doesn't have any more weight than anyone else's. So I would actually love to hear your opinions. Or is anything on this list something you actually want or would like to give to someone else? Are there other categories of gifts that you think are just ridiculous that they put out this time of year? Thanks again for watching. I hope to hear your opinions in the comments below, and I really hope I will see you next time. Bye!